Hello, welcome to Plant Based Cooking with Chef Kimberly McNair Brock in AARP, Alabama. Folks, we want to make sure you know that AARP Alabama empowers people how to live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama, and our role is advocate on each of their behalves. Kim McNair, what do you have for us today?
Hi, we have Thai coconut soup.
Thai
And
coconut soup. That sounds pretty good. What's it going with?
so it's by itself, but you can also, I like to put a little rice in mine sometimes, a little spicy
Okay.
rice.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have some veggies to go in and some great aromatics.
All right. Sounds good. Kim, they came to see you, not me.
Okay. So I have our some coconut oil already starting to melt a little bit. Here, turn our heat back on. Okay. And just wanted to let you guys know that this is like one of my favorite soups. I've had it at many different restaurants. My husband and I went out of town recently and had it, and it was just kind of over the top, even more delicious than the restaurant we tend to go to here locally. So, with that said, there was definitely a heat component to it. And so we're going to incorporate some of that in here as well. So I've got our coconut oil melted, and I'm going to put in some onion. We've got some julienne onion here. All right. And then I'm going to turn this down a little bit. All right. I'm going to take some garlic, and I've got a garlic press here. Stir that around a little bit so that it won't burn. Okay. And add our garlic and just crush it in. Okay. Okay. And I also like to do my ginger with the garlic press too. Sometimes you can definitely chop it or even have it, puree it with the garlic and maybe a little bit of avocado oil, just so you can have it ready and on demand. But for the sake of today, we're going to use this garlic press. Okay. Just continue to stir that around a little bit. All right. Cut it small enough to fit in here. And so you want to definitely do it over your pot so you get all the juices that come out along with some of the actual membrane of the ginger. It's just delicious. Now, if you don't have fresh ginger, you can use powdered ginger. Just not going to be the same. So when you're cooking with certain flavor profiles, you want to try to go fresh if you possibly can. And we are going to strain this, so it's okay if you get some of the strains of the ginger in here. Just remember that. Okay.
Chef, is that with all the herbs?
I didn't hear you.
Is that with all you want to try to be fresh rather than packaged?
Yes, you can put all of the herbs in here because it's going to be strained. This part of the soup is. Okay. So we got our garlic, got our ginger, and I'm going to go in. You can use any kind of pepper that you want. Like if you got some Thai chilies, that would be nice in here. If you have Fresno, which is basically a red jalapeno, or just a jalapeno like I have today. Okay. So we're going to stir that, all of that in. So we got our coconut oil, onion, ginger, our pepper, and garlic. And I'm going to do some red curry paste and some lemongrass powder. Now, I don't have lemongrass, and that you can definitely find it at an Asian market or something like that if you're close to one. But if not, lemongrass powder is definitely something that you can use. Okay. And what else? One more thing. Oh, red curry paste. So you add your red curry paste. All right. And just add that in. And you want everything to kind of meld together and get flavors going here. Okay. So I know you're like, okay, I didn't know all that was in there just because they strained it out in the restaurant for us. Okay. So we're just doing this till it everything gets soft, all the veggies, and you start to smell it. And then to this, I'm going to add our stock. So I'm going to add just a little bit at a time and kind of scrape the bottom. I don't have a roux here, you know, but just because of some of the aromatics and that lemongrass powder, just want to make sure it all comes up. All right, I think it's all up now, so I'm just going to add it all to the pan. And then I'm going to bring this to a boil, okay? And once we've got it boiling, then we're going to strain it off and start with our next little process, okay? So, move a few things around. And next, we're going to start with the second part. If you want to put tofu in it, by all means, get you some tofu and add that in. I'm going to do mushrooms. So we're going to just start trimming our mushrooms and getting them ready for the end. Okay. And you can cut them however large or small you want. And just kind of do little slices of it. And I'll tell you a little cheap thing. If you don't have a vegetable stock, and I've mentioned this before, you could use water, but you're definitely going to have to bump up your spices and herbs. But what I used today was like a mushroom stock. And so what I had was a bunch of different wild mushrooms, the end and stems of them that I didn't use. And so I like to use them and throw them in a stock sort of at the end to flavor that up. But I used it today to get the flavor off of the mushrooms so it would have that earthy flavor. And I don't know if you remember seeing it. I should have made note of it at the time. But it was a brown color, you know, like your stock is. It was light brown. Okay. So our liquid is starting to boil a little bit. Okay. Almost done slicing up our mushrooms to go in towards the end. Okay. All right. So you want to technically boil this, reduce it to a simmer, and let it simmer for like 30 minutes. We don't have 30 minutes, but just for the sake of time, we're going to kind of bypass that step. But you want to simmer it a long time so that you can build flavor. So that's why you also don't want to add water. You want to add something that's going to have a good depth of flavor to it. Okay. And I am going to reduce that just a tad. So I'm going to continue to chop all of our goodies here. So this is some Thai basil that I got yesterday. So we're going to finish with a little bit of this. And it just smells so good and earthy, y'all. Okay. But then I also have some cilantro and some green onions that we're going to add to it as well. Okay. So that's, I'm going to put it in this little dish here for backup. So another thing about the original version, the non-vegan version of this soup, it has either an oyster sauce or like a fish sauce to it. And so since we're making a vegan version, we're going to use our ume plum vinegar because it just has a brightness and a tartness to it that's really delicious. Now there are some vegan fish sauces out there. I have not tried them. I think I've even run across a recipe for how to make it, but I have not done that before. So if you all have, tell me about it in the comments. Tell me how that went. If you made it before. Or where you get yours from. Okay. All right. So I think I've got us pretty much to go there. On our next step. Oh, these aromatics smell so good in here, y'all. So I'm going to strain this now in this bowl, and then I'm going to add it back to the pot, just the liquid. Okay. All right. I'm going to add it back in. Make sure we get all of our aromatics going back in there. Just flavor dancing in your mouth, guys. I can just smell it so good. And to this, we'll wipe this up a little bit. We're gonna add.
Jeff, why did you do that?
So the soup is very smooth. Like when you get it at a restaurant, it's just all the umami flavors. You know, it's not like you're biting or chewing on anything. You know, at the most it would be something like some tofu or mushroom or something like that. Or if you had, seafood, you had maybe some shrimp or some. Okay, what happened here? Or some shrimp or some chicken. But it's like would be poached, very soft, very tender. But so you want to taste just the creaminess of the soup. And so you've got all the flavors here. You just don't have the chunks and bits in it. Okay, so we strained this out, and now I'm going to add in our coconut cream. And you can do, sometimes I like to do coconut cream, have coconut cream and have coconut milk. And so, but this is coconut cream. So you want to add like 2 cups of that or whatever, portion of the size you're going to do. Okay. And to this, I'm going to add in now our coconut aminos. So we're just doing a tablespoon of this. And this is in place of soy sauce. Okay. Stir that in. Just every little step I'm going to just kind of incorporate. Make sure everything's incorporated and mixed well. And I'm going to taste this a little bit just to see what our broth is looking like, y'all. It's good. I'm going to add some salt. And you can add black pepper to this. You can add some cayenne, or I'm going to do a little pinch of red pepper flake. Okay. And so if you want to add some honey or some turbinado sugar or coconut sugar, you can do that at this time as well, so that it will start melting, dissolving into the stock mixture. Okay. Then I'm going to add some of our aromatics. So we're going to go with some green onions and some cilantro. Just a little bit in there. I'm going to save some for our actual bowl that we're going to serve up. Try to get all the green onions in here. Okay. And I'm going to add our mushrooms in next. And it's starting to boil a little bit. And the biggest part of this is just waiting on that that initial mixture to come to a boil and simmer for like 30 minutes, like it said. Okay. Turn this down a little bit. Okay. It smells good. I'm going to taste it again. Oh, this is coconut Cheetos. I'm going to add a little bit of our homemade plum vinegar in here. So I'll do a little bit and taste it. Do a little bit at a time. Okay. So it looks delicious. Actually, I'm going to get out a ladle. Add a little bit in the spoon to taste it. It's delicious. So you can add the plum vinegar just a little at a time to make sure it's, the right, it's not too sour, So I'm thinking we're good, guys. All I need really is a little bit more heat, personally. And then we should be good to go. So this was really fast, but like I said, normally it would take a little bit longer because we would be letting that first batch go a little longer. Put this aside. Okay. I'm going to get our bowl. Okay. And I'm going to put a few things in the bottom. So I'm going to put some Thai basil, a little bit of more green onions. And then I'm going to ladle our soup in here. Make sure we get a good bit of that broth. So this is, I know it's probably, well, in some places it's still a little warm out, but I just was in a soup mood. And it's just really nice to incorporate some of that. And something delicious that you made at home and you didn't have to spend a lot of money on, and you can have as many or as little bowls of it as you want. A little bit more scallions and basil on top. And if you want a little bit more acid, we've got our lime here. And that's it. Really simple and easy. Thai coconut soup.
That's pretty good, Chef. Were there any things that could have substituted or anything that you would
Yeah,
have preferred to?
I started to say if you wanted to add tofu, you could to it. You could add any, I guess any protein that you wanted. But this is just a beautiful soup, just simple, but it's got a depth of flavor. Even this short period of time that we cook this, it's still got good umami to it. Um, you know, Definitely all the soy products. If you wanted to add tofu, if you wanted to do soy instead of the coconut aminos, you could do that. We're not doing fish sauce, so I did the ume plum vinegar. Yeah, and then you don't have to use the red curry paste. If you are a genius and make a great curry, you can definitely make your own curry and add that here to it instead. So just whatever your heart desires.
A lot of options with this one.
Yeah,
Stephanie, thank you for joining us and producing this great product for us to try. And
thank
we'll
you.
see you next time in September. No, in October. See
Yes.
you then. Bye.
Bye bye.